Hi, everybody. So I have a special guest on my show. His name is Mercer, and he is an ENTJ. And can you introduce yourself, Mercer?
Hi, my name is Mercer. I met Leon because his work was quite interesting. He has a different insight to it, and we got him in our group on a couple lives, and he told me he wanted
Right.
to do a live as well with him.
Can you tell us about your group?
I started this group. It's called Mongolian Mindset, and eventually we're gonna make a YouTube too as well. But the Mongolian Mindset is about self-development. It's all about
Mm-hmm.
being the best version of you. The reason for that is because if you're the best version of yourself, then you're gonna win more battles. You're gonna win. You're gonna get better outcomes. So a lot of it in there, somewhat fitness related. Some things are
Right.
fitness. A lot of it is typology as well. And we really teach the mindset to not put yourself in a fixed mindset, but to put yourself in a growth mindset.
Hey guys, so if you find yourself stuck in a hole in life and needing to dig yourself out, I really recommend this interview that I have with Mercer, in which he talks about strategies to dig yourself out of a hole. He went through a lot of struggle in his life, but he's able to become successful, get himself out of the hole, and also lead a self-improvement group. So if you want to check that interview out, I have a link to it up above and also down below in the description box.
We're going to talk about ENTJs and all eight of the functions of the ENTJ. And in Socionics, the ENTJ is called a logical intuitive energizer and the entrepreneur, which I think is the perfect title. I think a lot of entrepreneurs are ENTJs. Like if you meet an entrepreneur, there's a very high chance that they're an ENTJ. So we'll go back by this one function at a time here. So the first one here is called pragmatism, which is expert thinking, right? So I'm going to read little portions of this and see how you relate with this. So the most important thing for ENTJs is that they fulfill their potential as usefully and productively as possible, thus ensuring real long-term improvements to the world around them. They possess natural inquisitive minds, which they use to read up on whatever information is available. This allows them to build up a bank of factual data to ensure they are informed on all relevant events that they encounter. So, can you tell us about how you relate with this, if you do?
So this is pretty much home to me. Everything is about efficiency. Anything that I approach in life, it's all about finding the system that's working there. And if I
Right.
can find the system, then I can manipulate the parts to get what I want, or to get
Mm-hmm.
what I need, or to do things effectively. And I translate that to anything in life,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be money, gym, going out, all of that. It's all the same. And when it comes to being inquisitive mind, I'm always reading. I feel like you can never read enough because there's so
Mm-hmm.
much stuff that comes back, whether you're reading Robert Greene or you're reading Patrick Bet David or you're reading Malcolm Gladwell or Ryan Holiday. Like those things come back, and then when you get in life, some of those things that you learn can be used, and they can allow you to be more effective faster than other people.
So the purpose of this is to be able to find the usefulness of this information and to make things as effective as possible. So it's basically a way of becoming like the best version of yourself. So the point of such knowledge is that the ENTJ is prepared to perform competently, possessing the know-how to work in the way that best aids long-term progress. Frequently, they can be focused on increasing the amount of return for the effort they put into something, looking at available statistics and data before seeing if any improvements can be made to the functioning of procedures and methodologies. Thus, they endeavor to improve working processes so they could lead to greater benefit over time.
I mean, that's pretty much what I said earlier.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everything is a system for me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
always trying to find the best system to continue to get the rewards, and I'm always kind of tinking down the system to make it even more effective. Whether it be the gym, like I said, if I have an hour to work out,
Right.
over the course of let's say a couple months, I'm always refining it to get the best out of the workout.
Mm-hmm.
Or food or anything like that. It's always a system for me. I don't think I pretty much enjoy food or anything. It's
Right.
just nutrients. So I'm always perfecting procedures, methodologies. If you stick me in a room or like a new job or something, I can find out the most effective way to do something very fast, and it kind of blows
Mm,
people away. And sometimes it's not the prototypical way to do things. You may take out a step here and there, but overall it becomes more effective.
hmm
Sometimes it kind of ruffles some people's feathers or whatnot, but
mm.
over time, I think that has been a big part of my success.
Do you feel like you've always been like this? So like ever since like a kid, this
Yeah.
has been your focus.
I feel like I've always been this way.
Hmm
As early as I can remember, just being the most effective way I can do things, whether it be like homework or things like that. It's always
hmm
been that, and just being competitive as well.
Interesting.
I could share a very like pragmatic story.
Go ahead. Yeah.
This might like this might pretty much wow the group, but there was a time when I was younger, and this is just how like I guess you would say pragmatic I am, or like cutthroat.
hmm
We had like this noise that was in the backyard or whatever, and my mom decided to go outside with like this hammer or whatever, and it's like me and my like 3 or 4 siblings,
hmm
and I when she went outside, and I'm not even the oldest one. I'm like the third oldest. So this is kind of all like my thought process. So I just locked the door on her, and my brain process was that if someone's out there and they kill her, there's no reason for the rest of us to die as well.
Right.
Uh, my mom didn't see it that way. So she like beating on the door. She's like, "Who locked this door?" And all my siblings like they were shocked. But
Right.
to me, it made complete sense to if you're gonna go out there and something happen, I'm gonna give us the best chance to win.
Yeah, you're making the most logical choice out there and still for the benefit of everyone there.
Yeah, but
Hmm
I would say it's not very humane sacrifice
Right.
your mother. So and that
Right.
that was like when I was a kid. So that shit.
Okay. This extends to the ENTJs themselves who will try to transform themselves into machines of highly efficient output. With this comes a sense of initiative. These types know that provided they put the work and dedication, they can achieve whatever it is set their minds to, applying themselves to solving whatever might be holding them back. Furthermore, they feel obliged to impart knowledge to others. In doing so, they're able to indirectly bring out improvements beyond themselves, giving others information necessary to do things well.
Yeah. I really resonate with that part because if you teach other people, it all comes back to you eventually. So you gotta you always have to put your knowledge out there,
Hmm
and you'll see it spread.
Right.
Like just like the Mongolian mindset group.
hmm
Um, I spread a lot. They get on me a lot by spreading a lot of my knowledge.
hmm
And it says sometimes with your extroverted thinking, you can kind of push your knowledge on the people
Right.
like a constraining way. Even if they don't
Right.
want to, you
Yes.
kind of throw it down the throat.
hmm
And you can pretty much tell that with all ENTJs. They got a very
hmm
particular um, view of things, and they don't mind
hmm
shoving it down your throat.
Right. Can you describe this a bit of this initiative that it's talking about here in the description?
For me, I've always kind of had this initiative. I've always kind of been motivated. It's just a natural thing for me.
Hmm
I don't think there's ever like my mindset is always to be like to do something, to always be doing something or learning something.
Yeah.
The only time when I can cut my brain off is when I am around other people like friends and stuff, and
Yes.
we're out and we get drunk.
Hmm
But besides that, my mindset is always on, what book can I be reading? Whether it's like me listening to an audiobook before I go to sleep. I'm very systematic on that.
Your brain always wants to grow in knowledge.
Yeah, and improve. So like it's simple
Mm.
things like just playing an audiobook. Like I literally go to sleep with an audiobook playing. And the thing is if I can get 30 minutes sleeping with the audiobook playing and 30 minutes when I'm waking up, I've gotten an hour and over
That's
360
true.
the amount of knowledge that I accumulate from that is is very beneficial.
It really adds up over time, right? Can you
Yeah.
tell us about like this need to impart knowledge? So you feel like it's almost like an urge. No?
Well, the thing is, I really want people to do really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like what I've learned are systems that can help them do good.
Right.
Uh, but a lot of time people don't want to. I've learned as I've aged that people just want to be heard,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't want you to fix their problems or impact your knowledge on them.
Mm-hmm.
So but I feel like I'm always, whether it's typology or fitness related, I'm always sharing my knowledge with them. And I feel like I go a little bit deep on my knowledge. So it's about a mastery approach to the knowledge. So
Right.
when I'm giving people knowledge, it's like I feel like it's some of the best.
Because
And
you really do take the time to master yourself. Okay, so let's go to the next function here. Time. Time is introvert intuition. So it says the optimizations and fixes provided by the ENTJ are regularly geared towards the long term. They see the use or benefit of something in terms of what will help things for years to come rather than simply aiding daily life. As such, they tend to conduct themselves with a sense of greater purpose than themselves, trying to utilize the limited time they have wisely for making statistically important differences to reality. So, does that resonate?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said earlier, I feel like those two run together when you're talking about TE and I.
Yeah.
They
Mm-hmm.
run together for me. So I'm always making a choice for the future. I'm
Mm-hmm.
never just making a choice for today
Mm-hmm.
or
Right.
yesterday. I don't really care about the past because the past is dead and it's only thing you can't really do anything with it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's the infrared sensing
yeah,
part,
yeah.
right? Like that's the function that the ENTJ most ignores.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when it comes to NI, it may be as simple as whenever I go to restaurants, I always look at the future and I will always get water. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's the real small things with NI that kind of
Mm-hmm.
helps you a lot. Just
Mm-hmm.
taking a futuristic point of view, where it'd be like investing in stock markets and
Right.
that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You always take a long-term approach to things and not, how can I have fun today. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I really have a lot tougher time
Mm-hmm.
with enjoying the moment. As
Right. Yes. Okay. That's where the sensing comes in, or perhaps the expert sensing a bit. Have you planned your funeral?
have I planned my funeral? I would say I've had this feeling that I wanted to live forever.
You'll,
Have I
you'll
planned?
you'll be able to take advantage of some future technology with that.
But as opposed to that, like setting up, I kind of think about it, but I try not to think about it because it makes you feel vulnerable, and
Yes.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't really like to feel vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I kind of I've thought about potentially like I have something where like all my like stocks and stuff is tied to
Sure. Mm-hmm.
my brother's daughter because I don't
Mm-hmm.
have kids now, so at least she'll be able to go to a school of her choice if something happens to me.
ENTJs usually have a certain amount of trust or faith in the methods they decide on. Being rather confident in what they're doing will eventually lead to significant results, even if immediate improvements cannot be seen. This could also result in them having a sense of what they should be doing to optimize things in the long run, being less satisfied with simply doing their current job well and more focused on doing the job that will make important changes in large scale. You kind of like talked about that a bit, right? So as
Yeah.
such, they may move between different careers and projects going off on their own when they feel their potential is not being satisfied, as well as it could be, and the job they are taking is not leading anywhere greater.
With that mindset, I've always kind of had a vision about where I want to go in life,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty much jump. It's kind of like I'm Mario, and I'm jumping from each other rope until I get to the original
Interesting. Yeah.
vision
Mm-hmm.
that I've had. So the original vision would probably be I've always wanted to do politics, and
Mm.
to get to politics, you have to make a good enough money not only money, you have to have networking. Networking has to be the number one thing. So, but the thing is that the elite only deal with the elite, and usually the first thing that comes is money.
Right.
So you can't break into that networking circle until you prove that you're actually somebody who gets things done and are effective. That's always been my kind of route that I wanted to go. So everything is pretty much centered behind that. So stocks and everything, like stocks accumulate money now. Probably buy some rentals very soon and start on from there. But it's all centered on to getting to that one kind of goal that I've had.
Got it. How do you feel about this thing where it says they often move between different careers and projects? Is that something you could see?
So I can see the different projects, careers, not so much because I think you have to have a sense of focus,
right?
In your career and jumping around.
Yeah, so it's part of that long-term development of a potential that intuitive intuition's about.
But like starting other like tasks and stuff, I enjoy that because it keeps my brain going. And it allows me to be able to utilize it later on to a higher degree. Like everything comes back. That's the central theme. So I'm always willing to do the work now to make the future a little bit easier.
Right. So they may give up a secure position if they feel they could be better filled by another person, or similarly, they may apply for a less comfortable job that they think would be more worthwhile to posterity. Despite this, they will not necessarily appear busy to others, as they are good at knowing when not acting is exactly what is required to do something properly. During these stages of patience, they may be quite dormant.
Yeah. So throughout, I mean, I think this comes back to like when I was kind of going to college and stuff. My mom pretty much thought I was lazy because I was pretty much in my dormant state. But once I graduated, I went pretty hardcore on working, like workaholic type tendencies, to where I can work 70 to 80 hours a week. And I'm like, she didn't see that coming,
Right.
Kind of like
it's saying it's here in the description that the waiting is intentional, or like the dormant state is intentional.
Well, I see it as always conserving energy. So
yes,
energy for the future. Like I would say it's conserving energy. So I know about it, but nobody else knows about it. So
right.
Kind of right. My mom would like I didn't like when she always says I didn't think you were gonna be like this, working so much like crazy.
Right.
In my brain it was kind of like I already knew it.
You already knew. So that reminds me, because before this video, Mercer and I were talking about battles, and often ENTJs make great generals. And one thing is, like, when you're battling, you don't want to always go on the offensive all the time. It's smart to sometimes you need to wait. You might need to be dormant for some time.
So, I mean, what is essentially saying is you want to be kind of Machiavellian. You got to know when you have the advantage and wait for the advantage.
Right.
It's not, that's unfortunately a lot of things. You just can't push through the wall all the time. You have to wait for the perfect time. I don't know if anybody really watches anime or anything, but the character from One Piece, Blackbeard, be that way. If you ever seen it, he kind of waited for the perfect opportunity to get what he wanted, and then he took it.
Right.
Off to his mission. Like he was off to taking his powerful role. But before that, everybody thought he was weak or whatnot. But he just waiting for that perfect time to where he saw like everything coming up, and once he saw it, he seized the moment and kept going from there.
Yeah. So you're a very active and dynamic personality type, but this is the difference between you and like someone who's expert sensing first. They might just jump at something even when it may not be the best moment. Okay, so the next one here, this one is actually expert feeling. I know like ENTJs, their function stack includes introverted feeling, but of course this video is about all 8 of the cognitive functions of the ENTJ. So we're going to talk about extrovert feeling here, emotions. So ENTJs tend to be very independent and can often be mistaken for introverts, as they rarely put much emphasis on going out to see people or socialize just for the sake of it. While they are happy to see their close friends, just meeting people could feel empty to them. To an ENTJ, such actions are only worth doing if they serve some purpose or real benefit to their projects, such as activity related to publicity, marketing, or networking.
Yeah, that's makes 100%
Right.
sense. I talked about that earlier. Everything has a goal.
Right.
Even if it's socializing, like everything has like I have a goal that I'm trying to achieve, and that's
Right.
why I'm doing it. I think a lot of people, like if you get really, my close friends would say that I'm more introverted than
Right.
people in the persona that I kind of put out. So that makes a lot of sense there.
Yeah. Well, I think, I don't know if this is true for you, but like the ENTJs I met in my life, I felt like you kind of have to approach them first. Like, but when you do, they do start talking. Right.
Yeah, I think it's a different bond between ENTJs and INFPs.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that my best friend's an INFP.
Mm-hmm.
She pretty much came up to me,
Mm.
started talking to me. So I'm really not the. Sometimes I can be friendly, sometimes I can't. I just don't like see the purpose of it.
Right.
Um, but yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
we can be like that.
However, should there be adequate justification for ENTJs to spend their time this way, they will go about it with practice competence, managing to make themselves more friendly and convey their ideas and initiatives to others with a catching enthusiasm. Similarly, when in a position of authority over a team, they could become charismatic leaders, reading up on tips and methods to better inspire people to perform to a higher standard.
So that goes back to a lot of the books that I read on communication
Mm-hmm.
and charisma, whether it be the charisma myth or whatnot. I'm always kind of reading up on how to talk to people, but
Mm-hmm.
that's being a charismatic leader has kind of been something that's very natural to me. Uh,
Right.
I just know how to inspire people. I know how to make them get things done while having fun,
Mm-hmm.
and by doing that, they enjoy like being around me, and because they enjoy being around me, we get things done, and it's like a loop. Uh,
Right.
I've always been very charismatic, so it's
Mm-hmm.
I still read up on it because I'm always trying to master things. Like I have a
Right.
real deal problem with that, but I've always been a charismatic leader too.
Right. However, such attempts will often be reserved and exercised with caution. They will be very reluctant to give false impressions or engage in hyperbole that may distort someone's factual understanding of the truth. As such, any strategic attempt to enthuse others will be tempered by intellectual honesty. Ideally, they will like to drop the act altogether. Similarly, when others come to them for help, they will approach the issue by coming up with objective solutions to problems. They may feel rather annoyed and feel their time is wasted if the person turns out to simply want to rant.
Yeah, so this is what I talked about earlier,
Right.
where I talked about no understanding with age that people just come to you to want to be heard,
Mm-hmm.
but just not my natural propensity. My
Mm-hmm.
natural propensity is to give you a solution, and
Right.
then if you don't listen to that solution, I write you off, and like
Mm.
whether I call you stupid, lazy, whatever in my
Right.
brain, it's gonna be one of those two, or So that's pretty well said there.
So let's go to the next function here. So this, we're going to talk about senses, which is introverted sensing. So this is going to be the ENTJ's weakest function, but also the one they least value too. So relaxation and rest could be difficult concepts for ENTJs to appreciate. Due to their desire to perform at maximum efficiency, they are disposed to workaholism, cutting out daily concerns in their pursuit of creating long-term benefit. Often they could look upon their body as an inconvenience, something that has to be dragged complaining through their day of productivity. This can sometimes come at the expense of health, with the ENTJ sometimes burning out from exhaustion or catching illness from a lowered immune system.
So this right here is literally what happened to me this week. So I work right now around 60 hours a week. Plus I go to the gym 7 days a week.
Right.
I go to the gym 7 days a week. And that's about two to 2.5 hours a day.
That's quite a lot of energy expenditure.
So I do that. Plus I'm always reading. So it's kind of like nonstop for me. Like plus I'll go out with friends. Like it doesn't matter. And over time it kind of adds up on me, and I end up burning out or getting sick. And this is what scares the shit out of my INFP best friend, because she has, this is one of her functions. She's like, you're always going. Like you just gotta stop. You're beating up your body too bad. Like and it just going like that just allows me to be the maximum effectiveness. And like all the time I think like, man, if I just didn't have like a body or something, or if I just didn't have to eat, or stuff like that, because it gets in the way of my productivity, and I don't really care for it too much.
Right.
Pretty much have to eat just to stay alive.
Right. So it said earlier, like they want to kind of like almost like they want to be a robot or some sort of machine. So if you could exchange your body for like a machine, that's something you would do.
Long as I can enjoy the pleasures of it as well.
Right.
This is when I want to use it, be pleasurable or stuff, that'd be perfectly fine with me. But if I wasn't slowed down by my body, I'd be a lot happier.
Right.
Because like I said, this week, I'm really in the burnout phase. So it's kind of like burnt, like it's all hit me. That's why I feel like for me, like I could go for like a month or something, and then I get hit like out of nowhere, where it's like a week of like my body feeling heavy or like feeling tired or whatnot, and then like let's say I'll go to the doctor and then I'll run the labs, and the labs come back perfect, and it's all just exhaustion.
I see. In such situations, they may end up overly worrying that the illness will slow them down then for the welfare of their body, and might look up methods of suppressing the symptoms so they could go back to being functional. Similarly, in making their improvements, they may overlook softer details such as contribution to ease and comfort. The fruits of their labor may be ugly and tastelessly designed, fulfilling the necessities without being enjoyable or harmonic with the surrounding aesthetic. Despite being stereotypically associated with financial success, they spend little on luxury, rarely thinking to treat themselves or indulge in luxuries.
Yeah. The last part there is spot on, because a lot of things are just like at this point in life, I could enjoy a lot of things, but that's just not what I want to do.
Right.
I want to just keep funneling more money into like stocks and or set up the like real estate or whatnot. So that's the way I see things, and I don't really care. Like to me, I don't really get a feeling from doing stuff unless I'm with other people. It's the weirdest thing ever. I don't really enjoy doing things like I would say by myself. Like I don't get anything out of it. Like it's not like I'm like, oh, like if I'm gonna do something, I'd rather do it with my friends. And if I'm not gonna do that, then I'd rather just keep doing what I'm doing. And it says when you overlook the softer details, like I said earlier, I just like I've noticed like a lot of people are more into like the vivid stuff, and like they'll like eat food for like different reasons, and I'm just sitting there like I have to eat this to keep going in life.
Right.
While some people are like, "Oh my God, it's so good," and they want to taste it and everything, and it's like I don't even care about the taste.
Right.
People look at me crazy. I'm like, yeah, I'm just eating to eat, man. It's just like if I don't do this, then I'm gonna die,
Right.
And I can go long periods of time without eating, which is kind of bad.